Algebra 2, Lesson 98, the relationship of numbers. So this is kind of a fun lesson. Let's see here. I'm not going to do the thing that they did. I'm going to talk about something funny as far as subtraction goes. So let's take 9 minus 4. Okay? 9 minus 4 gives us what? 5, right? Now, the funny thing about the answer 5 is that there's 6 numbers involved here. All right, so listen to what I just said. There's 6 numbers involved in this problem, right? And I'll show you on a number line. So let's say we've got 0 over here. We don't care about anything below 4. We have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? So the subtraction problem is 9 minus 4. And remember I said there's 6 numbers involved here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. There's 6 numbers involved in this subtraction, even though the answer is only 5. And this is what tricks most people about the relationship of numbers. The relationship of numbers is that the distance between two numbers has little to do with your normal algebra skills, right? So your normal algebra skills will kind of betray you logically if you try to figure out how far it is from 4 to 9. So what the mistake a lot of people make is if I say, hey, what's the distance between 4 and 9? People will go, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 numbers apart. No, you do not count your starting point. No. Or you do not count your endpoint, one or the other. Or you only count the spaces. That's 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space, 5 space, right? So the distance between numbers can become a little bit tricky. Now, what makes this even harder is if I ask you, I want to know what number is 7/10 of the way from 4 to 9, right? So this is the problem we're dealing with. I want you to find the number that is 7/10 of the way from 4 to 9. So first we got to think about the distance between the two numbers. What is the distance between 4 and 9? It is 5. We can figure that out through subtraction, right? So if the distance is 5, I want to find 7/10 of that distance, or I want to find the fractional part of a number. So what is 7/10 of 5 equals what, right? If you remember from our fractional equations all the way back in 6th grade math and 7th grade math and pre-algebra, we would say that fraction times of equals is, right? Or 7/10 times 5 would equal x, right? So 7/10 times 5, I can cancel that, so then it becomes 7 over 2. So 7 over 2, that is 7/10 of the distance of 5. Now, the question is, 7/10 of the distance of 5 is not the number 7 over 2, because the number 7 over 2 is just equal to 3 1/2. 3 1/2 is over here, right? This is 3 1/2. How in the world could 3 1/2 be 7/10 of the distance from 4 to 5? It's not even in the range. So all 3 1/2 is telling you, or all 7 over 2 is telling you, is of the distance 5, 3 1/2 is 7/10 of the way. So you have to go back to your starting number. You take this, you add it to your starting number. So that gives me 7 1/2, which means to me that right here, 7 1/2 is 7/10 of the way from 4 to 9. Okay, that's my example. Let's put this into practice with a practice problem. After I'm done coughing. Okay, here's our practice problem. We need to find the number that is 1/5 of the way from 1/8 to 9/11. First thing we have to do, find the distance between these two numbers. How are we going to do that? Subtraction. So we'll take the bigger number, 9 over 11, or the direction that we're going, the n number. We're going to subtract the first number, 1 over 8, and there's no common denominator. Oh no, what are we going to do? We'll find the common denominator. It's obviously 88. You just have to multiply by 11 and 8. It's no big deal. So this number gets multiplied by a value of 1 written with 8s. This one gets multiplied by a value of 11, or 1 written by 11s. So this becomes 72 over 88 minus 11 over 88. So 72 minus 11 is 61 over 88. Cool. We have found the distance between our two numbers. So let's go ahead and draw a number line. We've got 9 over 11, or sorry, whoops. We've got 1, we'll just, we've got 1 over 8, and then we've got 9 over 11. And this distance is 61 over 88, right? Now, we have to figure out what is it? 1/5 of that distance. So we're going to take this number, we're going to multiply it by the fraction. So 61 over 88 times 1 over 5. Oh, no, there's nothing we can cross cancel. That's okay. We have calculators in this class, right? Because you guys are allowed to use them. So you can be super lazy, and you could do 88 times 5, or you can remember that 5 times 8 is 40, so 5 times 80 is 400, and then 400 plus 40 is 440. Or we could just type in 88 times 5, and we get 440. Cool. So 61 over 440. Now, here is the annoying part. Well, what you guys might think of as annoying. So, once we have the distance, this number is not our answer. Remember, the same way that 3 1/2 was not our answer. This is the distance we need to add to the starting point. So then we take this and we add it to 1 over 8. And then we got to get a common denominator with 1 over 8, unless we can reduce this. But I don't think we can, because I'm looking at divisibility rules, and there's nothing that goes into 61 and 440 is not going to reduce. So, now, all we have to do is add. So, how many times can 8 go into 440? Calculator. 55 times. So, this is going to get multiplied by 55 over 55, which makes it 55 over 440. 61 plus 55 is, let me see here, 116? Let me double check. 116. Why did I even doubt myself? So the answer is going to be 116 over 440, but we can reduce that. I know we can. I'm looking at this. There's 4s, there's 16, there's 100. I'm pretty sure these can both divide by 4. So 4 will go into 10 2 times. 4 goes into 16, 36, 9 times, so 29. And then that's going to be 110. 29 over 110 be reduced? I don't think so. Hold on, let me think here. It's 2. Nope, divisibility rules got us. 29 over 110 is it. That's it for this lesson. That's the nature of numbers. Hope you learned something. If not, I'll see you in class.